69 Z28 cutting off the drip rails. So here's the front drip rail. There's not much of a lip, but what you want to do is take your grinder and your cutoff wheel and go on the inside and follow the trailing edge at the bend, and that'll leave you with this amount of metal across the top. And then you can take a grinder and go flush with the angle of the roof. So looking towards the back of the car, I took the grinder and pushed on an angle gently, because you don't want to warp the metal, to give it that outer edge which will still disperse the water, and at the same time give you a little bit of a lip in the event that you need to actually fix any of the welds. So where I was looking, and the hood doesn't actually separate that much, is there's little teeny spots where I might take my MIG welder and just touch through to give myself that connection between the top shell and the inner seam. But as it stands right now, if you go nice and slow, there's no separation. This took me about 20 minutes to cut off, and I was going very, very passive. And I'm using very, very thin cutoff wheels. That's about a 3mm cutoff wheel. And then I was using 24 grit grinding pad to actually bring it down to the metal. Now it's about 20 degrees outside. I would move about 3 inches at a time and then stop just to make sure that I wasn't going to warp any metal. Anytime that it was hotter than maybe 30 or 40 degrees to the touch, I would stop and let it cool. And I started with a wire wheel just to rip all the seam sealer out from in between. I don't know if you can see it here. Rip the seam sealer from out in between the actual drip rail and the body. That's it. I anticipate this might take maybe an hour and a half, and then maybe another 2 hours total to clean up the metal. And I'm not going to seam weld. I'm just going to touch in the spots where I see a little bit of a separation, seal it, and get it ready to go. Anyways, 1969 Z28 Camaro, drip rail removal.